Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we are diving right in to uncover the invisible, highly complex infrastructure that routes our internet traffic and keeps the modern apps we use every single day running smoothly. It is a fascinating look under the hood of the internet, revealing exactly how fiercely independent networks manage to cooperate just to deliver the speed and reliability we've all come to expect.
So you might be wondering, how does the internet actually handle these ever-growing traffic demands without totally collapsing? When modern apps demand incredible speed, huge bandwidth, and ultra-low latency, they run into a massive wall. You see, the underlying network routing protocol that makes the whole internet work is essentially blind to performance metrics. It's kind of like having a high-speed sports car, but relying on a navigation system that only knows about the oldest, slowest dirt roads.
To really grasp the problem, let's quickly define the baseline of our internet's infrastructure. First, we've got BGP, or the Border Gateway Protocol. This is the standard routing protocol of the internet. It determines the paths that data takes, but as I just mentioned, it is alarmingly oblivious to performance. Second, we have IXPs, or Internet Exchange Points. Think of these as massive physical crossroads where hundreds of different network organizations meet up to exchange traffic. Traditionally, they act as simple Layer 2 interconnects, just moving packets around at a reduced cost.
Here's our roadmap for this explainer. First, the internet routing problem. Second, the centralization trap. Third, the DESI architecture. Fourth, solving policy conflicts. And finally, proactive versus reactive rules. Let's get right into it.
Section 1, the internet routing problem, and specifically the immense strain on BGP.
The core issue here is that BGP simply cannot guarantee the bandwidth or latency that modern applications absolutely demand. And let's be real, modifying BGP across the entire globe overnight? Practically impossible. Enter software-defined networking, or SDN. SDN was supposed to be the fix. It aimed to add a smart, highly programmable layer to these IXP crossroads. An architecture known as SDX, and later an industrial version called ISDX, attempted to bring SDN right into these exchange points, allowing network operators to program the fabric to implement custom routing policies. Sounds like the perfect fix, right?
Well, that brings us to Section 2, the centralization trap, where we look at the flaws of SDX.
As it turns out, centralizing this intelligence creates three fatal flaws. First up, privacy risks. Placing a centralized SDN brain right in the middle of an IXP forces competing internet service providers to hand over their highly confidential routing policies to a third party, and nobody wants to do that. Second, it completely blurs the separation of responsibilities. Traditional IXPs just transport traffic, but if an IXP is suddenly actively computing routes, who's at fault when the traffic fails? And third, scalability. Installing the forwarding rules of hundreds of members onto centralized physical switches overloads their memory. The expensive hardware simply cannot scale to the size of the modern internet.
Which leads us perfectly into Section 3, the DESI architecture, and how we decentralize SDN.
This is where the clever decentralized solution detailed in our source material comes in. Instead of a giant brain stuck in the middle, DESI does something brilliant. It literally moves the SDN controller out of the center and places it safely into the networks of the individual internet service providers. The central IXP switch fabric, it goes back to being a standard unburdened transit point. So, why is this shift such a game changer? Well, by letting ISPs run their own controllers locally, privacy is inherently protected because they never have to share their secret routing rules with the IXP. The separation of responsibility is instantly restored, since the IXP is no longer burdened with route computations. And finally, it scales beautifully. Each ISP only has to store its own forwarding state, which dramatically reduces the memory load on the central hardware. It's just an elegant shift in perspective that solves all three major flaws in one go.
Moving on to Section 4, solving policy conflicts, because we need to figure out how to manage all this complex logic.
As we dive into the technical mechanics here, we have to ask a very human question. What happens when a network administrator just makes a mistake? When you're dealing with complex routing logic, overlapping instructions can easily cause traffic to fail or be sent to a completely wrong destination. Decentralizing the network means every single ISP has to perfectly manage its own internal rules. A major risk they face is known as the covering problem. Here's how it happens. Step 1, a network admin writes a really broad, high-priority rule.
Step 2, they write a very specific, lower priority rule right underneath it. Because the broad rule is evaluated first, it accidentally swallows up all the traffic intended for the specific rule. Step 3, DESI actually flags this conflict statically and fixes it by reordering them into what they call cover-free policies. This ensures the more specific instruction is always evaluated before the broader one.
To visualize this, just think about how these rules can overlap like boxes. If a broad rule directs all web traffic on port 80 to one provider, while a specific rule tries to direct port 80 traffic from a specific subnet, like 2.0.0./8, to another provider, well, if they aren't ordered perfectly, that larger outer box captures packets intended for a completely different network. DESI automatically identifies this to prevent that misdirection.
But the covering problem isn't the only pitfall out there. DCII also uses what's called a dependency graph to prevent another type of conflict. This one happens dynamically when traffic arrives and a lower priority rule acts on a packet simply because a higher priority rule hasn't been physically installed in the switch's memory yet. By mapping out how these rules intersect before the traffic even hits, DCII ensures the hardware is never caught off guard.
So how do we ultimately translate these complex human policies into precise machine code? DSI uses an expansion process. It takes a high-level instruction like send traffic to port 21 or 22 and expands it into explicit, flawless forwarding rules that an open-flow switch can actually understand. It even cross-references the Internet's master routing tables, the BGP rib, to automatically fill in missing destination IP addresses. Pretty smart.
And that brings us to our final section, number 5, proactive versus reactive rules and how we manage memory.
Managing hardware memory is always a critical balancing act, right? DESI gives us two distinct strategies here. First, the reactive approach. This installs rules on the fly only when a packet actually shows up needing directions. This saves a ton of memory, sure, but it adds latency because that first packet literally has to wait for the controller to do the math. The proactive approach, on the other hand, pre-computes and pre-installs everything. It's lightning fast with zero packet wait time, but it demands significantly more memory from the hardware. For those who prioritize pure speed, DESI's proactive approach groups internet providers into sets to compress the rules. And here's a really fascinating technical detail. Older systems tried to cram this routing data into the standard 48-bit MAC address field of a packet. DESI instead utilizes a clever 64-bit OpenFlow metadata trick. This completely avoids injecting extra background noise into the network, and because it has more bits to play with, it scales much further into the future to save vital hardware space.
As we wrap up this explainer, we're left to ponder a massive concept. The internet isn't one giant machine, is it? It is thousands of fiercely independent private businesses that have to cooperate at incredible speeds. So, can independent networks ever find true harmony? The scale and reliability of our digital future hinge entirely on elegant, decentralized solutions like DESI, systems that prove we really can work together without ever forcing us to surrender our individual control. Until next time, keep questioning the architecture that connects our world.